People say you can't judge a book by its cover, but in Westwood Motors, a luxury dealership in Los Angeles, judging people was practically policy. And on a quiet Tuesday morning, when a guy walked in wearing dusty work boots and a faded hoodie, no one in that building had any idea. Their biggest lesson of the year had just stepped through the door. The glass doors of Westwood Motors slid open, with a soft hiss as Ethan Ward stepped inside. Sunlight fell across the polished marble floor, bouncing off chrome rims, carbon fiber panels, and glass display cases that screamed money. The place looked like a museum, if museums sold cars worth more than most people's houses. Ethan paused for a second, taking in the showroom. His hoodie had paint on the sleeves. His jeans were worn out at the edges, and his boots looked like they had walked through 3 construction sites, back to back. Which, to be fair, they had. He wasn't there to impress anyone. He just needed a car, a real one, not the beat-up pickup he'd been grinding with for years. A receptionist sitting behind a marble counter glanced up, then instantly looked away. No smile, no greeting. Just that quick up and down. Look, people give when they've already decided who you are. Ethan didn't care. Or at least he pretended not to. He walked past the counter toward a black AMG sitting under a chandelier shaped like exploding diamonds. He whistled low. "Damn," he muttered under his breath. "Didn't realize these things looked this crazy up close." On the far side of the showroom, 2 salesmen were leaning on a desk, sipping iced coffees like they were bored out of their minds. Travis, the older one with slicked back hair and a permanent smirk, nudged his coworker Kyle. "Yo, check this out," he whispered, not quietly enough. "We got another window shopper." Kyle snorted. "Man looks like he's here to fix the plumbing, not buy a 6-figure car." They laughed. Ethan heard it, but didn't react. Years in construction had taught him how to ignore people talking trash. But still, it stung. He circled the car, trying to figure out whether the AMG was too much for him or exactly what he needed. The truth was, he had more money than he could ever spend, earned, not inherited. 12 years in the construction business, building his own company from scratch, contracts, bids, projects across the state. People had no idea who he was just by looking at him. And that was exactly the way he preferred it. But days like this tested his patience. He turned, expecting anyone to approach him. Instead, both salesmen were busy pretending he wasn't there. Travis was on his phone. Kyle was scrolling through something, laughing. Ethan sighed and walked toward them. "Excuse me," he said calmly. "I'm looking for someone who can show me the AMG." Travis didn't even look up. "Service department is on the other side, my man." Ethan frowned. "Service? I'm not—" Kyle cut in with a lazy grin. "Look, bro, those cars are 6 figures. We don't do test drives unless the customer is serious." Ethan blinked slowly. "I'm serious." Travis finally looked at him. "Sure you are." The sarcasm was thick. A woman nearby, Claire, another salesperson, saw what was happening. She opened her mouth like she might step in, but then Travis shot her a warning look and she sat back down. Ethan inhaled, then exhaled slowly. "You don't think I can afford it?" Travis shrugged. "Hey man, I didn't say that, but—" "Come on." He gestured vaguely at Ethan's clothes. "We're just trying not to waste each other's time." Ethan felt heat rise in his chest. "So you looked at me and assumed I'm broke?" Kyle chuckled. "Relax, dude. It's not that deep." But it was that deep. Ethan's jaw tightened. He forced himself to stay calm. "Can you show me the car or not?" Travis crossed his arms. "Look, if you want to take pictures for Instagram or whatever, that's cool. Just don't touch the paint." Ethan stared at him, stunned. Not angry yet, but close. He stepped back, glanced around the dealership, and took a slow breath. "All right," he said finally. "Let me talk to your manager." Travis grinned. "Yeah, no problem." He jerked his thumb toward the office. "But he's going to tell you the same thing I just did." Ethan didn't respond. He just walked toward the office, each step quieter than the last. What Travis didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the moment Ethan reached that office door, the entire dealership's day, no, their entire future, was about to flip upside down. Ethan stood at the manager's door and tapped his knuckles lightly against the wood. From inside came a calm but slightly annoyed, "Come in." He stepped inside. The office looked like money, sleek glass walls, a giant photo of the LA skyline, a polished oak desk, and a leather chair that probably cost more than his old truck. Behind the desk sat Richard Hale, the dealership manager. He was flipping through paperwork, but when he looked up, his expression shifted, just slightly. Not enough for most people to notice. But Ethan noticed. He'd seen that look too many times. A polite smile appeared on Richard's face, but it wasn't real. "Yes, how can I help you?" Ethan kept his voice steady. "I'm trying to take a proper look at the AMG GT out there. Your sales guys aren't really giving me the time of day." Richard's smile tightened. "Well, we usually assist customers who have appointments or who show clear purchasing intent." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "And what does purchasing intent look like to you?" Richard's eyes dropped, first to Ethan's dusty boots, then his faded hoodie, then back to his face. "It's just presentation matters. This is a luxury dealership." Something hot twisted in Ethan's chest. He wasn't angry yet, but he was close. "So your guys assumed I can't afford the car?" Richard cleared his throat, buying time. "I wouldn't put it like that. But we try to prioritize serious buyers. These vehicles aren't exactly entry-level." Ethan let out a slow breath, forcing himself not to snap. "Okay, let's cut the BS. I asked for help, they laughed in my face. I'm here to buy a car. What else do I need to do?" Richard leaned back. "Sir, perhaps a dealership more suited to your budget would—" That was it. The fuse hit the bomb. Ethan didn't yell, didn't curse, didn't even blink. He just reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, opened his banking app, turned the screen around, and set it gently on Richard's desk. Richard froze. The number staring back at him had more zeros than he saw in a month. For the first time since Ethan stepped into the building, the manager's voice cracked. Is this your account?" Ethan nodded calmly. "All mine, and that's just the liquid cash. The investment accounts look even better." Richard swallowed hard. He suddenly sat up straighter, as if gravity had doubled. "Sir, of course, we'd be happy to assist you. I'm very sorry for the misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" Ethan said quietly. "You judged me the second I walked in. Your guys judged me. You didn't ask who I was. You didn't ask what I needed. You looked at my clothes and decided my worth." Richard's palms started to sweat. "Please, allow me to make this right." "No," Ethan said calmly. "I'd rather talk to someone who didn't treat me like trash." He grabbed his phone, turned, and walked out of the office. As Ethan stepped back into the showroom, Travis and Kyle were leaning on the counter again, laughing about something stupid. They looked up and froze. Richard rushed out after Ethan, his voice shaking. "Gentlemen, Mr. Ward will be receiving our full attention from this moment on." Travis blinked. "Wait, what?" Kyle swallowed. Sir, we didn't know he was—" Ethan cut him off. "You didn't know because you didn't bother to ask." The entire showroom felt like it was holding its breath. A woman stepped forward. Claire, the only one who had looked at him like a human being earlier. "If you'd like," she said softly, "I can help you, properly, no assumptions." "No attitude." Ethan studied her face. No judgment, no fake smile, just professionalism. He nodded. "Yeah, I'd appreciate that." Claire smiled, genuinely this time. "Follow me." As she guided him toward the AMG GT, her voice calm and respectful, Travis leaned toward Kyle. "We're so fired," he whispered. Ethan heard it. Didn't turn around. Didn't need to. He was done giving people like them attention. Claire opened the driver door of the AMG GT, the interior practically glowing under the showroom lights. "Take your time," she said. "If you have any questions, I'm right here." Ethan eased into the driver's seat. Leather hugged him. The smell, the feel, the quiet power of the car, it felt like everything he'd worked for. Every late night, every early morning, every calloused hand. "How does it feel?" Claire asked. Ethan grinned, a real one. "Feels like home." Outside the glass walls, Travis, Kyle, and Richard stood frozen like statues, eyes painfully wide because Claire had just said the words. "If you want to sign today, I'll start the paperwork." Ethan stepped out of the car, looked Claire in the eye, and said, "Yeah, let's do it." In the reflection of the AMG's glossy black paint, he saw the terrified faces of the men who had judged him the second he walked in. And for the first time that day, Ethan smiled. Because the real lesson? He wasn't buying a car. He was buying a moment they would never forget. Ethan stood beside the AMG GT, while Claire walked toward the office to grab the paperwork. The three men, Richard, Travis, and Kyle, still hadn't moved. They looked like they were stuck inside some glitching video game. Ethan could feel their eyes drilling into his back, but he didn't care. He'd spent too many years letting people like them control the room. Not today. Claire returned with a folder in hand. "We can take care of everything in my office. It'll only take a few minutes." Ethan nodded and followed her. Behind them, Richard finally snapped out of his panic. He rushed forward. "Mr. Ward, wait, please. Before you sign anything, I want to personally apologize again. What happened today is unacceptable. I assure you corrective actions will be taken immediately." Ethan stopped walking and turned slowly toward him. "Oh, I know there will be," he said quietly. "But not the kind you're hoping for." Richard's face twitched. "Sir, Ethan raised a hand, shutting him up. "You judged me based on my clothes. Your employees laughed at me. You tried to send me to a cheaper dealership like I didn't belong here. And now? Now you're only sorry because you saw a number on a screen." Richard swallowed hard. "Please, let me make this right." Ethan stepped closer until they were almost face to face. "You don't get to make it right with me, but you will answer for it." Then he turned and followed Claire to her office. Inside, the environment felt different, calmer, safer. Claire handed him the final sheet to sign. "Before you finish, can I just say something?" she asked gently. Ethan looked up. "Go ahead. I saw the way they treated you, and I'm sorry. Not as a coworker, just as a human. You deserved better from all of us." Her sincerity hit different. Ethan exhaled softly. "Thank you," he said. "That means more than you think." She nodded, then smiled. "You're the kind of customer who actually deserves this car. Not because you can afford it, but because you worked for it." He chuckled. "That's exactly why I'm buying it." He signed. The dealership officially became the biggest regret of Travis. Kyle and Richard's week, maybe month, maybe year. 10 minutes later, Ethan stepped out from Claire's office holding the keys. Sleek, silver, heavy, and perfect. Travis looked like he was waiting for a judge to announce a prison sentence. Kyle was pale. And Richard was sweating through his collar. Ethan clipped the keys around his finger and walked up to them. "You know what the saddest part is?" Ethan said calmly. "You guys don't even realize how often you do this. You think it's normal?" Travis stuttered. "See, sir, we just made a mistake." "No," Ethan said. "You made a choice." Kyle tried to step in. "We're really sorry." Ethan cut him off again. "You should be apologizing to every customer you ever dismissed, not me." Richard stepped forward. "Mr. Ward, I assure you, disciplinary action will be taken. Effective immediately." Ethan stared at him for a moment, then said, "Good, because I already contacted corporate." Richard's soul left his body. Ethan continued, "I sent them a full report while Claire printed the papers. Screenshots included. They'll be calling you within the hour." Richard's mouth opened, but no words came out. Travis and Kyle looked like they wanted to evaporate into air. Ethan took a step back, turning slightly toward Claire. "Take care of yourself. You're the only reason I didn't walk out of here." She smiled softly. He walked toward his brand-new AMG GT, the engine already purring quietly like a beast waiting to be unleashed. Ethan opened the door, slid inside, and closed it. Silence wrapped around him, smooth, controlled, powerful. He pressed the start button. The car growled to life. Everyone in the showroom turned to look. Ethan rolled down the window and glanced out one last time. "For what it's worth," he said, eyes locking on Richard, "I hope today teaches you something real." Then he shifted the car into drive. The tires gripped the marble floor, and the AMG glided toward the exit like it owned the building. As the glass doors opened, sunlight poured across the hood. Ethan took a breath. A long one, a satisfied one. And with a small, victorious smirk, he said, "Never judge a man by his boots." He hit the gas. The AMG roared out onto the boulevard, disappearing into the city he had worked his whole life to conquer, leaving behind the dealership that finally learned the lesson they should have known all along.